Thank you, Jérôme, for organizing this. And so it allows you, people sitting at your computer, to follow a very interesting meeting without having to take planes, booking hotels, etc. So this is a big contribution against warming of the atmosphere, melting of the glaciers, etc. So good initiative of Jérôme. Now I'm going to present you in a quite simple way my personal method of combining hyperopia and presbyopia correction, what I call the smiley cornea. You will understand why a little bit later. The instrument I'm using is the InPro excimer laser GAUSS. I will explain you a little bit about that instrument because most of you are using flying spot lasers, and this is a broad beam laser. So I go over the technical details. You have the speed, etc. This is all technique. This is how the instrument looks. You see we have a powerful laser here, and we have a delivery system containing only one important element. No moving system, no flying spot, no mirrors, only Gaussian repartition of energy by a special plate, what we call a Gaussian plate. It was designed by engineer Sem Chisen of the Science Academy of Moscow and derived from his research on space technology. So you see we have the excimer laser beam, and you all know that it's not homogeneous, so it comes through the laser plate, and that gives a Gaussian repartition with, as result, a very homogeneous distribution of the energy with a peak in the center and a very homogeneous beam. And what is the result of this? Well, we have good refractive result with essentially a very smooth ablation surface. That explain why I'm not doing LASIK, but I'm treating directly the surface. We have a large ablation diameter and a very short ablation time, a few seconds, and no complications, of course, because we don't do LASIK. Now here you see some scanning microscope images, and you see the homogeneous aspect of the ablation compared to the aspect after after a flying spot, where you see a lot of craters. It looks a little bit like the surface of the moon, and you understand why the quality, the optical quality of the Gaussian beam is superior. And here you can see the large optical zone we have with the very smooth transition zone. Bon, now let's go more specifically to the subject. We treat hyperopia by 12 confluent ablations, a diameter of 3 millimeters at 4 millimeters from the corneal apex, and in many cases, even without doing anything specifically for presbyopia, we have a good near vision. Here you see an illustration. Here you have the confluent beams on the periphery, and here you see the theoretical profile. The work was done by Mrs. Gobin is an optical engineer working at the University Clinic. Now here I'm going into the practical details, but quite quick. We remove the epithelium with a double marking ring. Here we put the alcohol and nothing in the center. Voila, we remove the epithelium. It's not very visible here. We dry the surface. Here you see that we don't touch the center. We have still epithelium in the center, and we have only our ring that we treat. Now we do the treatment. There is an animation of this, but it's not very visible on the computer, so we jump it. But we have here, we do our 12 confluent ablation zones. And after that, we reposition the epithelium. We put the classical bandage lens, and that's it. So you see, we don't touch the center, and we don't do any cut in the cornea, etc. This is a purely surface treatment. Now the history. well, that will remain you a little bit what Charles Ganassia said. We also started with radial keratotomy, and we noticed, especially it was a remark of Istre, that when we omit the inferior cut, we have a quite good near vision. Monovision we don't do, and this is the schema of what we are doing. So you see the 12 ablation zones, they are confluent of course, and then inferiorly we put 2 supplementary ablation zones of 2 diopters. This is not voilà, and this is the result, and this is why we call it the smiling cornea, because you see you have here a more ablated zone in the inferior segment. Now, this is a small statistical study. We have in between, we have more cases because we do it already since 7 years. So the follow-up is longer now, of course. Here you have the results. Voilà, this is an interesting image where you see the cumulative Snellen visual acuity, and we see that the results are, on the whole, very good. These are the mean visions, but you will see it better after, voilà. And our conclusion, but not the end of the presentation, is that the indications are low to moderate hyperopia, early presbyopia, and of course, but I will not come back on it because it was treated by the previous speaker, we have to have a very careful selection of the candidates. Now, it is useful to give a few examples. For instance, here, case 1, 45 years, pre-op plus 150 addition, and post-op 2020 reads P1. And this is the topography. You see smiling cornea before, after. This is a study of the operation. You see about the same image here. You see that the point spread function is not bad, considering this is a multifocal cornea. I don't go into all the details. Case 2, 60 years, plus 3 addition plus 2, post-op, even better, 2420 reads P1, and here is again the same image. You see the cornea is smiling and the patient was also smiling, of course. Case 3, about same thing, plus 150, 2020 from distance, reads P1, again, the smiling cornea, and again the aberration study, and also the point spread function that is quite reasonably well. Consider that we have to do with a multifocal cornea. Now, I must thank Professor Merlin, who started 1 year ago the same method. He has fewer cases, but also about the same results. Mean distance vision 10/10, mean vision from near 9/10. And now the future. Until now, I didn't attack the myopia, but we could imagine the same technique with doing first a central ablation for the myopia, an overcorrection of the myopia, and then doing exactly the same thing in the periphery, first treating the residual hypermetropia, and then we will see a supplementary zone in the inferior quadrant. And there are already some colleagues in Italy doing that system. And here you see a slide sent to me by Dr. Catone, where you see about the same aspect, but in a myopic patient. Here you see the ablation zone in the center, the peripheral hyperopic correction, and the smiling part inferiorly. Another case with the same technique. So that's what the manufacturer called the super zone, myopic zone in the center, hypercorrection of the myopia, hyperopia in the periphery, and then to finish with the specifically presbyopic correction. Voilà, these are the presbyopia ablation poles. So thank you for your attention.